The president also said Saudi Arabia's government deserves severe punishment if it killed Washington Post contributor Jamal Khashoggi. The Saudi-born journalist vanished after entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. That was nearly 2 weeks ago. Now, the Saudis deny harming him and threaten now to retaliate if any sanctions are imposed over the incident.
President Trump told 60 Minutes the U.S. will find out what happened.
Tell everybody what's at stake here. You know,
there's a lot at stake. Yeah. There's a lot at stake, and maybe especially so because this man was a reporter. There's something, you'll be surprised to hear me say that, there's something really terrible and disgusting about that if that were the case. So we're going to have to see. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and there will be severe punishment.
CBS News senior national security contributor Michael Morell is a former acting director and deputy director of the CIA. Michael, good morning. Let's start with the president saying that the U.S. is going to get to the bottom of this. There's been talk of recordings. How does the U.S. get to the bottom of this?
John, I think we need a couple of things. One is we need the Turks to share with us whatever information they have. I believe that they had intelligence sources inside that consulate. I believe that's where the recordings come from. They need to share those with us, and they need to share that soon. The Saudis need to share with us what they have, and then we need to collect our own intelligence so that we can corroborate whatever the Turks and Saudis are telling us. It's only when we have all of that information that the intelligence community will be able to tell the president with any sort of confidence what we think happened inside that consulate, which is still murky because there's two narratives and there's two competing narratives.
So has there been a rush to judgment?
I think the Turkish narrative is more compelling because they say they have evidence, and the Saudis have done no explanation. So I think that is more compelling, and that's where most people have gone. But the bottom line, Norah, is that we still don't know what happened inside that consulate.
Let's deal with the news this morning as you hear that Turkey and Saudi Arabia are expected to conduct a joint inspection on Monday. Is that significant?
I think it's significant that they're working together, but I wouldn't expect a whole heck of a lot from it since their narratives are so in contrast. I think that information needs to be shared with us and shared with us soon.
There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure for the U.S. to react. How long can an investigation like this go on for?
That's a great question. As the information flows in, the analysts will start to make judgments. But along with that judgment will be a confidence level. So they could start out by saying, you know, we believe the Saudis killed him inside the consulate, but we only have low confidence in that. And over a period of a week to 2 weeks, that confidence level could rise. So there's really two pieces, the judgment and the confidence level. And I would say once the analysts have the information, it could be 7, 10, 14 days before they come down with a firm conclusion.
You know, the president seemed very reluctant, Mike, to end the business deal, the arms business deal with Saudi Arabia. If this is true, is there any way that we should still do business with Saudi Arabia? He pointed out it's an awful lot of money.
Gayle, I think there's sort of 3 different buckets of things the United States could do if indeed the Saudis were involved in his disappearance, in his death. One, at the low end of the spectrum, would be limited sanctions against those individuals and those entities who were specifically involved in the murder. In the middle would be a delay in arms sales. And at the far end would be sort of broad sanctions against Saudi Arabia in general. My guess would be that we would end up somewhere with a mix of the lower end and the middle end. I think if the Saudis were involved in this, you will see some delay in arms sales, despite what the president says.
All right, Michael Morell, always good to see you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.